realtors in the valley, 53,000 of them do less than a deal a month. It's just the level of just kind of expertise out there is not where it should be, which gives us all the more opportunity with masterminds such as this to quickly shine bright. And we're blessed today to have Melanie with us. If you do not know Melanie or her background, you're in for a special treat. She has over 25 years in the industry, working with builders, working with homeowners, working with condo complexes, with probably more cold one-on-ones than many of us will ever get into in our lifetime. And she converts. And so she's going to walk us through that step, that one-on-one process, and she'll come up here shortly. What I wanted to just jump into first is just, first off, what are some big questions that we have regarding open houses? What are some restrictions, some barriers, why are you here? What are you hoping to get out?
How about promoting them?
Promoting. Hi, Mr.
That's
Stark.
a question I get a lot.
Amazing mail. Okay. Promoting. What else? Questions, hesitations, barriers, nervousness about doing an open house.
I'm already working with a realtor.
Oh, thank you.
Already working with the realtor. What do you say?
It's clip-on.
I'm sorry?
It's a clip-on.
Oh,
For this side, so you know, to point it in and then it clips on it.
oh, okay.
I think that's.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have
I
another?
think you
Responding
turn it
to
on.
negative
And
feedback as they walk through the
as
hall.
I understand, because I have not used it,
Fire.
but people have.
Responding
Have used it.
Oh,
Yeah, there,
perfect.
you got it.
That works.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
leave this here and then you just put it in
To
your bag and. give it to
negativity.
people.
Perfect.
Thank you.
What else? Now you're doing a lot of open houses. I'm looking at you. I'm waiting for the
I know.
restrictions.
I know.
Just so people can hear you.
Cool. Open houses, thoughts? What do you guys run into?
How to select the best one.
Okay, that's a good one.
Just put that in your belt.
We're not going for style here.
So you just,
But with that a little closer.
Cool.
What was that one, Pete? What'd you say?
How to pick the best open house.
Pick up.
Oh man, this thing is taking forever to download.
I wonder, do they have internet here in the
They do, but it's really slow.
House where they have the shield, the guard up of they don't want to even be approached by the realtor.
How about gaining rapport?
Yeah. Getting their information, contact information.
Others? Other holdbacks, hesitations? Walking into an open house, doing an open house, setting up for an open house? After an open house?
Yeah, for me, it's like usually I can build the rapport and I can get their info, but then building that that continuous rapport to keep that motion going. Yeah.
Okay. Pretty good list. Which ones can I cross out that you'll touch up?
I'm touching on all of them.
You already have respond to negativity.
But
I'll
no,
pick.
I think you have some different ideas. I say go through it. I mean, so if I see that you talked about it, I'll skip over it or just enhance it a tad. So go ahead and.
I know Mel's got a big one for this. Mel's got a big one for this. Victim gaining rapport. She's specializing in this. Getting info.
I spell report a little differently, but other than just first off, so we may be talking about two different things. I want to know what that is.
I think we're similar, but you get the idea.
I like that because that's pretty much the way people think it should be spelled.
Promoting. Who promotes their open houses? Prior to. What do you do?
I do a lot of Facebook ads
Okay.
and social media marketing.
What else? Are these your open houses or somebody else's open houses?
Usually mine, but I've done other people's also.
Okay, same strategy?
Same strategy.
What promoting open house.
So did you guys talk about, there's somebody who said they want to know how to effectively convert somebody after they walk in the door and you've already got their info. Did you guys already talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. I got to pay attention. Sorry. Trying to focus on this thing downloading. It's killing me.
Zillow. Okay, I like it. Okay.
Putting it in
More or less.
That's it. I think the first thing we did.
there. Yeah.
Pretty good on promoting. If you had to pick 2 of these or 3 of these, I mean, this is probably, you don't even need to pick all of them. How long would it take you to do these 4?
10 minutes.
Excluding the door hangers. If you did MLS and Zillow and Facebook, you got a pretty promoted open house nowadays, correct? As long as you do it usually a day or 2 prior to. I mean, it pretty much populates everywhere else, and then most people, they're either going to come off, if you question them and survey them, they come in and it's like, hey, how'd you guys find out about our open house? Did you see the sign or did you find it online? Usually the 2 questions. Half online, half on sign usually. These are huge. If you do somebody else's open house and you don't follow up and say, hey, I'm going to sit your open house, would you put it in Zillow? Would you put it in MLS? If they don't do this, you're missing half of your activity. You're just relying on signs, right? Signs just won't bring in the hot leads. Somebody walks in an open house, 2 leads walk in. First one says, hey, just saw your signs, wanted to come on in and check it out. Second one walks in and say, yeah, wife and I saw it on Zillow, wanted to come to a walkthrough in person. Which one's the hotter lead? All day long, right? So just making sure that you have that online presentation. For promoting, when I do an open house, and I do a lot of other agents' open houses, I do some of my own open houses, but I do probably 65, 70% buyers, 30% listings. So I don't do a lot of listings to be able to do my own listings all the time. But when I'm doing somebody else's, I usually try and pick the open house by Tuesday or Wednesday. Have it marketed online no later than Thursday, meaning it's registered on Zillow, it's registered on MLS, maybe blast out a Facebook ad. And that way when people are making their weekend plans, Thursday evening, Friday, all day, lunchtime, because they're looking at homes, odds are they're looking for homes half during the day on Friday, making their plans. And then make sure that and then signs is one of the big strategies that I do for promoting. I got a checklist I'm happy to share with everybody, just kind of goes through 4 to 7 days before the open house, 2 days before the open house. What's a big one that's very low cost that we can do to promote that mostly scares the hell out of most people?
Video.
Door knocking.
Oh.
Door knocking. This is huge depending on the area. Some places just probably aren't the friendliest to door knock because they're so spread out, lots are so big, or they're just a neighborhood where you're just going to no soliciting, no door knocking type of neighborhood. But you find an area with no HOA, things like that, door knocking is gold. I have had huge success door knocking. And it's a very simple, easy script, which I'm happy to kind of share with you guys or email out to you. But this is a great one if the area provides it and allows it. Do it maybe a Thursday night and a Friday night for an hour each night. You'll get some activity around the area, door knocking 50 doors. That's a great one.
I do it, Kevin, the day, basically too. I go back and remind all the people around that they're gonna have hopefully some cars around and we don't wanna inconvenience them, but let them know we're gonna be doing it and invite them to come over. And, you know, even if we haven't done anything ahead, do it the day of, it still works.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is gold. This is fun too when you get into it. First 20 houses will scare the hell out of you, but after that, you kind of get in the wing of things. You know, find out nobody's gonna bite your head off or call the police or anything else. It's pretty fun. Already have a realtor, negativity, how to pick them. How to pick them. Let's go through that one real quick. How do you pick an open house? What do you look for?
New on the market.
New. Okay.
Price correctly.
You double check price.
Traffic patterns.
Okay. I like it. Cool.
You want to consider gated, ungated. Sometimes those are hard to get to.
Yeah.
Plan ahead on those. something you'd like to sell, your price point, your profile. If that's if you're trying to be there to either sell it or to gain new clients, you want to be in the area and the price point that you're looking to go after.
I sell a lot of homes under $800,000. I went up and set Michelle Macklin's listing in Silverleaf one day, and I was like, good God, help me with make anybody walks in. I didn't know the area, the experience. I mean, I studied that. I studied the HOA. Jay and Michelle stopped by, drilled them with questions about the HOA, but it wasn't a smooth flow as well as somebody like the Bailey Brothers sat in open house where they have listings in the area. They know the area. So comfortable in your area where somebody walks in and you're like, I can sell a $600,000 house all day long. Confidence galore on it, not a problem. Somebody walks in with a $2 million and says, hey, what type of flooring is this? What kind of counters is this? I'm like, granite.
Nice one.
Really nice.
Very nice.
It's brown.
Yeah.
Expensive one.
So if you're it's just about being educated, right? Educated in your area. I love that. Kind of your own avatar. Ultimately, if you're in a neighborhood where you have to turn in 2 or 3 more times deep in the neighborhood, are you going to get much traffic? I mean, if you're using your signs, you're putting out 20 signs, and I mean, it takes all those signs to get them back to your house. Half your traffic right there is probably lost. Close to amenities, close to grocery stores, close to big major streets, cross streets, close to 101 patterns. Different areas as far as luxury neighborhoods kind of follow their sign patterns, but people will come in, Silverleaf I know, and call in those areas all the time. They're kind of looking for the open house listing. But just being able to know that area. Education's huge.
Chris once had a listing over near Grand Canyon University, and he actually put out 17 signs all the way from Central. And this one couple came in, and they're just like, I kept looking for that next sign, I kept looking for the next sign. But they actually followed all 17.
How big is it?
Email it to Sean and see if Sean can download it.
Wow.
He's coming back too.
Unlikely.
Is it on his
For
computer?
most of them.
If you email it, just email it to him.
Well, it's just not downloading, so I just didn't know if you had it. Do you have it? How do you have it?
I
Where's
have
it
it
stored?
on my own computer if the connections work.
That we know are not necessary, they're in good areas that are easy to get to, that people are curious about, say a gated community or something like that, kind of close to the front, but a house that isn't likely to gain anyone's major attention right at the beginning, because that makes it easier to build rapport when they come in and they want to just kind of be left alone for a minute, they want to look around, but then ultimately they're not interested in the house. It's an easy way to pick up a conversation. What are you looking for? A lot of times people say to us, like, I must just be in the wrong area. This is really what I want, this, and this, and I can't really seem to find it. And then we can get a lot of people's contact information by just having a list of everything that's available within that community. It's easy to access to
It's already
identify. We only have
downloaded.
one. We don't leave materials with anybody.
The newest
And
one
then
wasn't,
people will
but
just
maybe
volunteer to give us that information and say, hey, look, that is what I'm looking for. Can I just have that list?
Go
Ooh,
out
I
there
gave
and
this
see
list.
if
This is the last one I got. People are giving me a cell phone and text and this and sending all this stuff. And, how do you go about getting into that kind of stuff? And it's easy. They just want to
Well, I'm even connected to mine.
right? So picking a great
I'm
property
connected
that
to
is
mine.
likely to sell. Like, we're not trying to pick properties that we think are going to sell. We're trying to pick properties that people are engaged enough to get into, but then don't want anything to do with it.
Hold on a sec, guys.
It's an easy opening to get in.
You're going to see a little break in this. Hold on. Just trying to get connection here. You're not missing anything, guys. Hold on. Sorry, our internet connection's really bad. I'm trying to download this thing. What's that?
Is SPL?
That's what I'm on now. Yeah, SPL. Yeah. It just won't download. You can't get it to download.
Okay.
So I don't know how big it is. I'll try it again. That's what I'm saying. If you had a link or something that I can go online with. Actually, you know what? That might have helped. Hold on a second. Ah, I think it worked. Yep, it did. Perfect. Perfect.
So picking them. New, great areas. Are we back on?
We're good. Yeah, it took me we had bad internet there. I had to go outside and get better internet.
New pricing, traffic patterns, again, gated and kind of your avatar, being educated on your areas. And I love what Ryan said as well. It's just being able to be in an area that you attract traffic, whether it's the house that you want to sell or that you think will sell or not. The goal is always, hey, walk through that house first. But then if they're not, what did you like? What did you not like? What are you looking for? Is there a strategy that he shared before where you have a list of others in the area, and then all of a sudden it's like, I had a couple walked in, and they're like, hey, we like the house, but we just don't want a pool. Like, you know what? You want the one story similar to this, and another one that's just down the road over here. It's the best one story in the area. And let me get the address real quick, and I pulled up my list, and I went over to him, I said, it's this one right here. And she goes, hey, can I have that list? I was like, actually, it's the only one that I have, but I could be happy to email it to you, send it to you. She goes, all right, grab your email just like that. I had a conversation with them about that exact strategy, and I learned it from them. So it's talk to each other. What's working, what's not working. It helps. So I'm going to let Mel take over. We kind of got the promoting part and then picking up, which she can go into tomorrow, and then kind of bounce off each other here. But Melanie's 10 times more experienced than this and a lot more interaction. So without further ado.
Two comments though, because it's not specifically up here. This is more at the door and beyond. But responding to negativity. Negativity is actually just an objection, which is a buying signal. It's actually a good thing. If they're being negative, that's probably because they kind of like it. Some people are just truly negative, but most are just having an objection, which we'll talk about. And then already have a realtor. That one there is not specifically addressed, but coming from new homes, this is something we dealt with all the time. And then we would come in and try to get a backdoor co-broke or whatever. But I'll talk a little bit about that too. They already have a realtor. Doesn't matter. Can't tell you how many people I sold that already had a realtor or wasn't going to buy this year. So I don't even pay attention to that. You just keep going unless they tell you to have a buy a broker. That's important. But otherwise,
Push that button. That'll
that one that way.
transfer to the next slide.
Good, the microphone.
Good.
I don't know. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Till I run out of air, which I do a lot. First thing I'm going to say, and like Kevin said, I'm Melanie Sanders. Come from 25 years in new home business, sold for 15 years, promoted to vice president, and I ran sales and marketing for the last many, many years.
Does that sound okay? Is it easy to read? You can't hear it very well, can you? Okay, hold on. You have to scream.
So anyway, it's always interesting to me when people say, do you believe in open houses or do you do open houses? I'm like, for 25 years. I mean, that's really my whole.
I'll let you do it.
I'd rather you do it.
I know. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, this different class, sorry. I can't even see where I'm putting it. This is like the blind, leaving the blind over here. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Maybe put it right in the middle so if you turn your head, you can. And just hang on to it when you walk.
Okay, see, help.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, okay, they're my clickers there.
Yeah.
Anyway, absolutely, I believe in open houses. And it's been, if you think about it, builders. I mean, they're 7 day a week open houses. That's what they do. Do you think they would spend millions of dollars on models and merchandising and all that and put 2, 3, 4 models and all that if it didn't make sense? They're a 7 day a week open house. So absolutely, it does work. Even big builders, I hear all the time when nobody comes by or only saw 3 people. I mean, in our Idera community, and there's 2 of the guys that help me over there, we might see 4, 5, 6, 7 people for a week. And out of that 7, we normally can convert 1 or 2 people. So it doesn't matter. It's not about numbers. To me, if they get in the car, drive across town, come into your models, you just work them. And especially in the summer, they're probably not out looking if they're not interested. It's too hot otherwise. So anyway, let's get started here. The other thing I want to mention is, a franchise. On any franchise out there, my daughter worked at European Rec Center for a long time. Whether it's McDonald's, they all franchises, they all do scripting.
Okay, so they're just selling hamburgers or eyebrow waxes, and they're scripted. There's nothing they do from the time somebody walks in to the time they leave that isn't scripted. So here we sell millions of dollars of inventory, and we come out there and sell them without a plan, without a presentation, without, all the tools to do your career job, most of us. So, did I go too far here? Yeah. So anyway, what I'm going to tell you is there's something to that. They know that it works. The builder world knows that what I'm going to talk to you about now, from the time the people walk in the door until the time they leave, there is a set process, a set presentation that if you use it will help you convert more and more sales. I mean, they hire and fire by it. I mean, if people won't do this, they spend so much money, so much time. Every week in our meetings, I had to do this. Some of it's going to come back to me. I do it. Still a little rusty in a couple of areas, even though I do use this. And this also applies to somebody walking in your platinum offices. I almost said that other word. In your platinum offices. It works definitely in an open house, and it also works in a model or a spec home. Okay. So we're going to talk about the critical path of sales. It's Greek: qualify, demonstrate, cite, and close. And each one is a very important step. I would say the greet's probably the most important, because if they walk in the door, they don't like you, they're going to do everything they can not to like your home. If they like you, they're going to try to find reasons to buy your home because they like you. And if you're going to try to work with them later, because more than likely they're not buying that home, it's so, so important. Building rapport, R-A-P-P-O-R-T. Anyway, sorry. I had to say that. At least I've been spelling it for a long time wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, so get set, get ready, and go. You want to be prepared. You've spent time. Kevin was just talking about, you spent time. You may have paid Facebook ads, which, by the way, how well do those work? Kelsey. Okay. I'm Casey, sorry. Anyway, I would venture to say, I'll tell you that at our Adair offices, and here we have models and all these different things, and we track our traffic every week. You should track your traffic too, by the way. You should track where everybody comes from. If they're in state, out of state, you can pay attention to seasonal times so you know when the best times to do them. And if you do that, what we found, and I have to do a weekly call. I'm supposed to be on one this morning, sales call, explaining about those 7 people and why we didn't sell them and what we're going to do about them. And most of our traffic comes from drive-bys and the other from realtors. So if they're from realtors or drive-bys, your signage is very important, right? Get that signs out. You may want to put a balloon. Make sure it looks like a decent sign, not like one that's been in the back of your truck for 5 years, not rusted. And if you can, put a phone number on it, because many times they want to know where you're at, but they're busy. So I get calls and people are saying, where are you at? And especially if they can't find you. So that's important. The other thing is putting it on MLS, putting it on Zillow, putting it on all those different places that everybody else can find you. But again, our sales come from drive-by and realtors. That's 50-50. So even though we run some expensive ads sometimes too, they kind of work, but as we know, print ads aren't that great. So you spend all this money. You're going to bring them over to your community. You might as well be ready for them. And by that, here's a couple of things quickly. I probably won't read through all of this because you can clearly read. I put more here just in case I miss anything. But know if you're going, obviously, to a vacant home versus an occupied home, because you're going to want to bring things like, I've literally showed up to one years ago. I'm going to tell you about the rookie mistakes. I came there was nowhere to sit because I forgot a chair. Was there air on? Things like that. I also have like almost a little staging thing in my trunk where if it's empty, I vignette it. I bring a plant and maybe a couple of little pots and stuff, not pots, but plates, and I set stuff out. I warm it up a bit. Makes a huge difference. So, toilet paper is the number one thing I would advise you to bring. I'm not even kidding. How many times have you gone to one and people are going to come in and they're going to need to use your restroom? So be prepared. Have water or whatever else you need there too. If you're going to offer that to people, that's your offer as soon as they come in as part of the process. Here's what we were talking about, education. if you look here, people are testing you. You get a lot of most of the wealthy people don't look wealthy. They're coming up in a truck or something and they're testing you. The folks from Canada are testing you. Do you know what FERPTA means? You need to know a little bit, and you need to know who our governor is, who our mayor is. I mean, just basic things to check yourself with before you even walk in that door. Nobody wants to work with an uneducated person. You may be super smart in everything you do, but if they ask you a question and you have no idea by the way, we're about 4.5 or so million in our metro area for population, and that's based on one study. So 200, 300,000 in Scottsdale. Doug Ducey. I mean, go look the stuff up if you don't know who it is, because it is really important, and because you will weave some of these things in to your presentation, because it's not just rapid fire questions that you're going to do, it's conversational. So again, I would know this as a basis, just as a basic thing that you need to know. And this one here that was touched on too, have what's available in the community. I call ahead. I know what are vacant. I ask ahead, can I show them? If I have somebody and I need to run over, can I do it? I even check with the occupied. So when they go, this doesn't work for me, because I'm going to ask them if it does or not. And if they say it doesn't, I'm going to go, no problem. I've got that one you want right across the road. Let's walk over. I put a sign on the door and we leave. So that's the way I would handle
Can I
that.
touch on that now real quick?
Uh-huh.
How many people preview before their open house? Even before your open house I locked up one deal that way. It was huge because I actually went out and viewed like 6 homes before I did my open house. They came in and that's how I knew that one of the ones down the street was the best house. They went and drove by it, called the realtor, he didn't answer. Called the agent on the sign, she didn't answer. They came back to me. I wrote a $600,000 contract and got a $450,000 list because I had walked the home and knew what was there. This is such a huge value because just as Pat or Ryan was saying, how do you add the value about knowing your list that you're giving? When you picture it, you can look at your list, but when you can picture it, when you walk through it, I'm like, damn, the view of this house is great. The pool is beautiful. This kitchen is immaculate. Look at these upgrades. When you picture that, you remember it. And then when you're talking to your prospect, you'll be like, oh my goodness, you're looking for a kitchen? You got to see this house. That presentation is wow.
It's so true. Builders had to, all those years of builders, we were required to know our competition. We had to spend a lot of time in our competition. So this is like, if you don't have a chance to go preview it before, open up each one, look at the pictures. So you know right away if it looks nicer than yours or not, if it has a pool, it doesn't have a pool. I don't know about you guys, but everybody I work with kind of expected me to know stuff that I knew I shouldn't really have to know, but they expected me to know. So at least what I call, fake it until you make it. You may not know everything, but you're going to know the things they're going to ask you that day because you're at that specific open house and you can shine. They'll forgive you later when you don't know everything, but initially that's going to be how they're going to select you. Not just how you look, which is very important, by the way, how you look, how you dress, if your car's clean, all those different things. So anyway, in addition to the other things that you need to bring with you, take a little marketing piece about yourself. Like, why choose me? I used to put it about short sales because I happened to transfer into this career right in the middle of short sales. So I had a piece about short sales. I had all these different pieces sitting in these little holders that even if they came in with the realtor, I knew the people were going to grab them, which I wanted them to. And so anyway, have something about yourself, your unique selling proposition, anything that you want to tell them about you, not just me, what's in it for them, why should they choose you? Obviously bring some nice flyers of the home, not just the MLS printouts, but you do want to have that because if it's not your listing, you may forget what's in the home and need to refer back to that. But before you start the open house, brush up, know the square footage. I've got a few listings. I don't remember everything about all of them. So remember the square footage, how many bedrooms, school district, does it have a pool? What's the HOA? What does it include? Know all those questions because they're probably going to ask you.
One that I learned early on, for whatever reason, people love to ask that I wasn't prepared for in a lot of my early open houses, was the taxes. That's like somebody's first question.
That is a great question. I'm going to go add that back to my slide. Thank you. Because that is a very important one. They do ask that.
Yeah. At first I was like,
What they ask is the percentage, right? You're like, how much? You're like, well, I think it's $1, but I don't know the calculation. You're like,
I just tell them it's 80% of the assessed valuation, which is about 80% of purchase price. And if you want to know the exact amount, it's right here on the listing. It really is 80% of the retail value of assessed valuation.
that what it is?
Yeah.
True value. Like,
It's
isn't that what-
80% of the assessed valuation. So that's why it's important that you pay attention to your tax bill when it comes out. They could have you too high and you're going to be taxed 80% of that. It's really the rule of thumb that they use. So I just tell them, how about I tell you what it actually is and you can get it off the listing. But that's really what they do.
A little helpful thing I sometimes do is I'll print off 10 or 20 stacks of the MLS print sheet.
Yep.
And I will go through every single one and highlight the square footage.
That's a good
goods and
idea.
Baths, taxes, and HOA, and just anything that's common that you hear. And then when I hand it to them, I'll say all the important information is highlighted. Right there's your HOA, your taxes, but boom, 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 and because they don't know where to look. Right, you're giving them a sheet that's just chock full of info. So just highlighting the important things, who the builder is, right? Like it just depends on what neighborhood you're in, but everyone tends to ask the same question. So I just go through and
Well, I do the same, but I do it for me so I can find it
Right.
because
on your own.
I want to look like I'm the expert and I make them ask me and then or I tell them
that's
as I'm walking through
Either
so
way.
that I already know it up here and I look
Makes it
super
quick to
smart.
find.
I'm always having to, work on that. So anyway, have what else is available. Know if you can show it. If you're in a vacant home, there's nothing keeping you. You don't have to be. It's your hours. You can post a sign on the door that says, "Hey, I'm out for a minute. I'll be right back. Here's my number. Call me if you're here." And go show. If nobody else has shown up, go do that. Why? I've sold many homes that way because they're like, "Oh well, you don't have what I want, so I'll come back." No, let's go. Let's go right now. And so that's why you want your car ready. You want to know what you're going to show as well. And if you can show it, if it's on lockbox and all the other things. So have all your stuff ready so you're really prepared to get going. If you don't control the process, they're going to control you. You're going to have a bunch of banshees running all over your house. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm from the South. It's my home. I want to be the host. Nobody's rocking in my door and just going crazy through my house. And worse than that, this is your seller's home or another realtor's seller's home. And so you have to protect that home. You wouldn't let them just come in and just ignore you and run through the home, right? You'd call the police if somebody did that. So do not let them do it to your home. And so you're going to set your presentation so that it flows the way you want it to flow from the beginning. You're going to tell them how it's run. And if they don't like your way you run it, it's up to you if you want to let them look at it or not. But otherwise, they can leave. I like to weed out those really difficult buyers right up front. Just get rid of them right up front. Why spend weeks of agony with people that you don't want to work with? So.
Bill, will you do some scripting, or do you have an opportunity just to kind of do an interaction of somebody walking in an open house of what that looks like? Just because this is kind of contrary to two different ways that but people have been taught, right? It's like, hey, let them go, or hey, lead them through. What's the best way to do it?
I kind of go by, I pride myself on taking difficult people. People send me difficult people because I like confrontation. It's kind of fun. Debates. A lot of people don't like it. So I love turning those people because like me, I'm grumpy at first sometimes if people calls me or whatever. And so if people will work through them, half the time they'll turn out to be some of your best clients. So some people are just naturally grumpy up front, don't want to be bothered. But so if I feel safe with them and everything, then I might let them look through, but boy, I'm going to be right behind them until I convert them. And then I'm going to run them out or convert them. What you do, and part of that's coming up, but I've had a room of 15, 20 people. And then so if they all come in rapid fire, and they all do, it's feast or famine, they all show up at the same time. You've been slow all day long. You got sleep stuff in your eyes and they all show up. So, or you've been reading a book or on the phone. So when they do that, you're going to ask them a couple of very quick questions, which I'm going to show you here, right away to determine if there's somebody you want to work with or need to work with. You need to find out right away, are they actual buyer? Because if they're not a real buyer, so you'll know who to work with by these questions. So greeting, real important, because again, you want them to like you, and you want to come across very confident. You're controlling the process. So be prepared. And believe me, new home sales, we rehearse this every day. The guys know. I've made them role play a couple of times. I think some of them didn't want to come today because they thought I might make them role play. I'm not going to. Because if you don't practice it, you're not good at it. It becomes second nature to you, and you don't even realize you're doing it. And because people will get you off your track, your path, and you get back on it. And really, the critical path is just certain steps and things that you do that if you do them, gets the results that you need, a final end. And I'm really teaching you skills, not tasks. Tasks are the things that you do before the people get there. Skills are what you're going to do when they get there. Okay. So be prepared. You're going to rehearse it. And by the way, if people will send me an email, I forgot to put my info up here, but if you'll send me an email, I'll send you a presentation that I give to my folks that helps them just kind of, how do you incorporate all this into, a nice flowing presentation, so I'll be happy to send that to you guys. And then you just plug in your own names, not mine, because it'll have like my name in there. So anyway, you only have a few seconds to impress them. Okay. So if you don't come across right away, confident, nice, be ready. I lock my door. I don't let people just come in. Okay. They have to knock. I'll put, yes, I'm here. Please knock. Because you do not want anybody walking in on you, especially if you're in the bathroom. The few times people would come in, be the one time I went in the bathroom and I walk out and there's some guy standing at my door and it kind of freaks you out. So I do not, it's locked. The only way it's not locked is if I have a bunch of people already in there. Okay, then I'm fine. Okay, but otherwise I need to know who's coming in. I need to greet them. Otherwise, my process, I'm going to have to scramble to fix my process, my presentation. So again, you don't get a second chance at that first impression. You got to be smiling. You got to have it come up to your eyes. You've got to be, warm and welcoming. You greet them at the door, say something nice. I catch them off guard. Oh my God, it's a hot day. You must really want a home today. Or beautiful day to be out looking for a new home today. Or oh my God, your daughter's beautiful. I'm assuming, I love you next something. Okay. And then I welcome to my open house. Welcome to my office. Welcome to Adara. I might say, is this your first visit? I could do that question now, or I could do it later. And if so, then I go off on another whole tangent of questions. And then you're going to hold your hand out and introduce them. So right after that, you're going to say, hey, I'm Melanie, and you're right away, and you're kind of at the door still. And you're going to have your table or whatever you want right here, because if they get past you, you've lost them. So you kind of trap them in an area and let them know that they don't get to start running around your home until they followed your instructions. So then you have your nice card. And from that, you're going to go, how do you get them to fill out a card? Okay. So because it's our obligation for our sellers and for ourselves to get their names and their information, because if it's not clear, I'll go, okay, is that Mary or is that Marian? I will write it down. If they don't write it clear, I will do it for them. And keep in mind, if they give you too much push, I'll say something like, hey, do me a favor, please fill out this card. I'm going to run grab you some information. We do that in the models. We'll run get you some floor plans. So like, you do me a favor and I'll do you a favor. Okay. So, and then, so normally they'll fill it out. Or I'll say, hey, you can say it in many different ways and you need to do it with your personality. But bottom line is you're going to say, I need you to fill out a card for me. And if they start going, I don't fill out cards, or I have realtors, that's nice. I still need you to fill out a card because I am going to ask for your feedback. And so when that seller, the obligation for the seller is they want to know who has come in their home. If there's ever an issue on an occupied home, you want to make sure you know exactly who was in that home at any particular time, just even for liability purposes. People do steal stuff if you're not right with them. I've had it happen. So you want to know who that was in. And if it's a realtor, obviously you're going to get a card and you still want to get these people's names because you need to interact with them. And half the time you're going to take them away. If you do a good job, you're going to take them away from that realtor. It's just the way it is. People want to work with good people, professional people, and so forth. So if they give you pushback, you can just explain, look, I need this, because when I tell them, okay, I had 5 people and here's all their feedback, but I don't have any names, they're going to go, did you just make all that up? They could. So it's a good explanation to tell this other person on why you need them to do that. I need a name because I'm going to actually write down all your feedback. And bottom line is you just need it to need it. You're not going to bug them. They don't want you to. Matter of fact, I've taken some and I go, don't worry about me calling. Ripped it right in front of them. I won't be calling you. But in most cases, they're very nice and they'll do this for you, no problem. But I tell them I'm not going to bug you. I just need it. So, and then again, you have a choice to let them in or not let them in. And 2, depending on what your seller asks you to do. Sometimes your sellers will instruct you that. Here's one of the best questions you can ask as part of the process. So we've gotten past the greet. You've smiled and done all that stuff. And now you're going to say right away, this could answer 2 things for you. How soon are you looking for a new home? Or how soon are you looking for a home? This is going to tell you if they are, and it's going to tell you when. So right away, you're going to get kind of timing and if they are actual buyers or not. This may be, you want to know this rather than after you spend an hour with them in the home and they chit chat and you think, oh, I've got a great client. They're just neighbors, or they're looking for decorating ideas. They're just lonely, looking for friends. I've had a lot of that too. So anyway, this is very important that you ask this question right up front. I'm like, so hi, Mary, how soon are you looking for a new home? And they're going to tell me in most cases. And they may tell me they're not looking for a new home, but if their actions show they're actually looking for a new home, just ignore what they say and keep going. I've sold many people that weren't going to buy. I'm sure you have too. It's also going to help you cut through the chase. And this is going to help you when you have that group of people, because right away you're going to go, you may get to the point, I've had just corralled everybody in one room. Hey, everybody, who's actually looking for a home? Who's here for decorating? Seriously, I'll do that. Because when you're in models, sometimes you do get 4, 5, 6 people that come at the same time. You're like, crap, I've been here all day. Now everybody's here. And 10 kids, and you're trying to hold them. So I will say, who's actually in the market for a new home? Who's just here to use my bathroom? Get that a lot of times too. Things like that. Who wants to steal stuff from my refrigerator? We get that a lot as well. So anyway, most of the time they'll tell you. So then you can still be nice to everybody, of course. If it's just you and them at the same time and they're not interested, practice your presentation or still hang out with them. They may not be ready today, but they may know people. You still want to always treat everybody completely professional and mostly ignore what they say, other than the things they're telling you that's relevant to you selling them a home, like what their kids' names are, where they go to school, where their primary home is, things that you can use back for your summary close, because you're going to use everything against them to help you close it. So everything you say can and will be used against you with this. And then, so assuming buyers, some just live close by. But the next question I ask after that, if they're actually looking for a home, is, so do you live in the area? I want to know if they're from in-state, if they're from out of state. And then normally they're going to tell you, I live close by. Well, you're not going to spend 30 minutes telling them about the area then. We use area maps. Sometimes we just go, well, by the way, there's shopping closed, there's schools closed if they have kids, things like that. So then you talk about the area. If you don't need to talk about the area, don't talk about the area. If they already know and have lived there, don't waste your time with that. Just literally say, yeah, isn't this a wonderful area? This is awesome. No wonder everybody wants to live right here in my little area. So then you just keep on that. Then you can discuss the amenities, the, all the benefits of your community, your subdivision, your master plan, if they're not familiar with it. Don't assume anything. You ask questions to find out. You always ask, so demonstrating. Your step 3, now you're going to go to the demonstration process. You demonstrate only what is important to a buyer. You don't start going, okay, the kitchen's there. They know the kitchen's there. They can see the kitchen's there. And you don't use standard. This is standard. Who wants a standard anything? You want something unique, upgraded, things like that. So you never use those kind of terms. So literally you walk in the home and you go, hey, Mary and Joe, look at this home. Do you like to entertain? Before I start telling them how spacious and put my foot in my mouth, because they hate to entertain. And they're like, oh, I don't want this home, because people might come over. So you'll say stuff like, isn't this home spacious? Look how great and open and everything. Boy, you could have your family of 50 people over here and have plenty of room to eat and, engage with one another and so forth. So if they tell me they don't like to entertain, I kind of shut up. I don't talk about that anymore. And then I'm like, we're in the kitchen area, and I'm going to say, so who's the cook in the family? Or who likes to cook? If they go, we don't like to cook, I'm like, microwave's right here. Here's your refrigerator. Here's your sink. Here's your trash can. That's pretty much all you're going to need. And literally they laugh. If they're a big cook, I'm going to talk about the appliances and all the other stuff that we talk about, because they're going to be hanging in the kitchen a lot. I'll say, do you like to watch do you like to see TV or anything while you're cooking? Because it sounds like you spend many, many hours. And again, you got to listen to everything they say so you can incorporate it into your presentation and your final summary close. And if they say, yeah, and I'm like, did you notice here? The TV's right here. So you're not going to be left out. Why Joe over there is watching football. You're going to be able to be part of the whole group. So again, you're going to demonstrate their hot buttons. And if you listen to them, they're going to tell you big rooms, I need a pool, I need a big yard. So anything they tell you is important to them. If you know you have it, you go talk about it. Don't give information dump though. Don't go talking about the SEER rating of your air conditioning unit and that they're glazed over. Like me, I'd be glazed over. Just tell me what the monthly amount is. That's important to me. So there's some things that are important to everybody when you demonstrate a home. There's other things that you're only going to point out if it's important to them that you know because you ask questions. In other words, you might come in and say, hey, this home here was built very, very well. It has this, this, and this. And I quickly just talk about some features that are important to everybody. Otherwise, I move on, okay? You're really using these opportunities, time to build more rapport. They're going to pull you off your presentation. They're going to pull you off your questions. But what you're going to do is, you go off on a tangent for a minute about how their son's going just accepted to Princeton or whatever. And then you go, that's wonderful. And then you get them back over here again because you need to know what you need to know. Remember, you didn't spend all this time, effort, hours in the hot summer at an open house to do anything other than try to get a new client or sell a home or a listing. You didn't come there to be their friends. So the people think they're winning just because they chit-chatted with them for 2 hours, but they leave and they don't even have their questions answered. So don't do that. Okay, so more on the next step here is citing. In the builder terms is where we literally identify which home they want to buy. So we go out and pick a lot or, the actual home. When you're in an open house, you are citing. You already own that particular home, so that's what you're selling. But again, they may not sell that or buy that. So you're going to talk about how you can get them onto other homes, become your client, and so forth. So this is where in an open house, you're going to ask them, okay, so Mary and Joe, we walked through the home. What do you think? And you're going to use many tie downs along the way. They're called tie downs. You're going to say stuff like, boy, this room is awesome, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You want them shaking their head. Boy, look how big this closet is. Isn't this great? Mm-hmm. So you want them shaking their heads the entire time because at the end, when you do your job right, you have earned the right to ask them to purchase or to work with you. So, you're going to say, you can do all these different things here where you say, okay, if they say it doesn't work or no, I really don't like this home, then you can start saying, would you like to see other homes in the area? Or by the way, Susie, you mentioned you love a pool. The one across the street, if you've seen it, you can say, oh my God, it's fabulous. Even if you haven't seen it, hopefully you've looked at the pictures so you can tell them it's fabulous. And then have people like to get material in different ways. Have your laptop or your iPad or material. But one thing I won't do is just hand them my book of stuff for them to leave and go use it. I'm not going to give them my stuff. If they want it, they're coming with me or we're making an appointment. But I will let them know because if they say they have a realtor, I'm going to say, that's fine. Where's your realtor today? I understand people take vacations. They're busy. But I'm going to say, part of our job is to take you out of this misery because you just told me you don't like this home. If you were working with me, you wouldn't be in this home. You'd be in homes that you actually like that meet your criteria that you're looking for. So I do little snippets along the way, and I do use a lot of humor. I'm from the South. We say things that aren't even real words that normally will catch them at some point. Like, what did you just say? So anything, use your own personality, your own charm. Hopefully you have some and use it, and it will be helpful. And I tell you this, if you don't have it, act. I'm not even kidding. I've told my agents that they had to go take an acting class because I had very good agents that could recite this left and right. They could get 100 on their score, but people didn't like them. They will bump on the logs. Who wants to go? You go into these open houses, you walk in, there's a guy sitting on the chair or whatever. Hi, come on in. How can I help you today? I'm here looking for a home. Don't ask that question. That's not a real question. So basically, people do not want to work with a bump on the log. They want to work with fun, vibrant, professional, smart people. And yeah, somewhat attractive. And I don't mean you can't be ugly and sell homes. I don't mean that. I just mean that you need to be groomed. And if you follow this, we'll get to the end here in a minute. If you follow this entire presentation and you do all this stuff, there's no way you're going to fail. So unless you just smell, I mean, literally, you have bad grooming, or you're something else will keep you from being unsuccessful. It won't be this, because you will either get them to buy that home, or you will get them in the car, or they'll do like my top 5 clients right now. My top 5 people that refer me are people that I've met at open houses. Literally, the first one had a realtor she was working with earlier that day, Pamela Robertson. You guys know them. She's bought 3 homes from us in the last 2 years. She had been with her realtor all morning. She came into our office. I started working with her. She mentioned she'd be out looking, and I said, "Are you using your realtor here? Because I kind of need to know that." And she goes, "Well, I'm not sure." And she goes, after a few minutes, she goes, "I'm not using him. I'm using you." 3 homes in the last 2 years. My other one, I'm on the 5th home with. I just closed him on a home over by TPC, 800 and something thousand. Same thing. Mother and daughter came into an open house, and I happened to be there. I don't do as many, but I'll do them all day long if I don't have anything else to do that I have to be at. But same thing, they came in, told me they had a realtor, and I'm like, no problem. I just kept going, but do you have a good one? I just kept, depending on how they're going, I'll just go with it until they stop me. And literally, they left the house. Called me back 10, 15 minutes later, and they go, "We want to work with you. We like your energy. We like your passion. We just like you. We can tell that you're going to kick butt for us." And I'm like, without a doubt. I will save you $5 if I have to. So anyway, this is very important to do this stuff this way. You're going to ask them. So you're going to find out if it works for them. Don't wait and assume. Does this home work for you? Do you like it? Could you see yourself in it? All that. Because you already know how soon they want it. So then you go on down, and they're also, at some point I might tell them, "Look, guys, you're out here in the hot sun going to the wrong homes. Let me put you out of your misery. Even if you don't want to work with me," I know I say that. Of course, I want them to work with me. But basically what I say is, let me go in. There's hundreds and hundreds of ways you can search for home criteria. Let me go in. You can impress them by pulling it up. They don't know that. When you open that up and they see all those different ways, they're like, oh my God. And so Zillow, all these other ones, I get calls on homes I had listed 2 years ago that are already closed. So I tell them, they're not updated. Let us put you in a search that works the way we look for homes for the most part. And I'm like, even if you don't want to work with me this way, you're going to have this. If you do happen to see one, your realtor's not available. By the way, I'm available from 7 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. Call me anytime. So anyway, they will leave with this. And you can also put your neighbors, the nosy neighbors, on an automatic search. How about we help you quit having to go out and find this information? How about we just put you on an automatic where you can keep track of your neighborhood when there's a new listing, goes pending, close, and so forth.
Can I talk on that real quick?
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions that you had up top on that previous slide was, how does this one work for you? Could you see yourself living in this home? And I know Peter brought up the aspect of responding to negativity. I mean, somebody goes through a house and they're just tearing it up for what they don't like, and this and that and everything else for their day, or the hot or weather, just pissed off at the world. How simple and powerful is that? Such a converting question. Just the questions, like she said, just the scripts over and over of going, okay, what do you not like about this home? What else don't you like? If they're on a tangent, what else don't you like about this home? What do you like? Nothing? Great. Let's find exactly.
I'm like, I don't own this home.
Yeah.
You're not hurting my feelings. I tell them right up front, I don't care if you like it or not. I want to find something you like. It's not about what I like.
Yep. And I love what you said too, is that you said, even if you don't work with me, when you take that away, like another way that I've heard it said.
Take away clothes. Mm-hmm.
When I've just said, hey, listen, I got a very strict no pressure policy. It's your process. I'll follow up with you with your request if you'd like. But again, this is not a pressure. This is your step by step. So how can we help? What are you looking for? When they kind of go because that's just it. They're walking in. But again, the questions, she's converting right now. She's 100% converting.
You're constantly closing, tie downs, try down.
Over and over. And this is just where the scripting questions is pretty much answers almost every single one of those is already have a realtor, responding negativity, gaining RAPPORT, getting their information. And but these questions is what converts them. all through the process. So there's no magic question that just goes,
It's very simple. It's a very
hey,
simple process. It's not brain scientist stuff. It really isn't. It's not rocket science. But if you don't do it, they're going to leave, and you're going to realize you didn't get all the questions answered that you need to either follow up with them or to try to close them at some point. And the worst thing too, I'm really bad about forgetting things as soon as they tell me their name. So I carry a little card, and instantly when they go as Joe, and I instantly, if I can either have their guest card, or I start writing other notes on the back of, piece of paper. Joe, okay, dog is Roxy. I always go, oh, well, Roxy would love this, especially if they're bringing up Roxy. Roxy's important. So, but anyway, so this is what, one way I use to try to kind of keep getting my foot in the door, even if they're trying to so this is the next thing we were just talking about this. Handling objections. Objections are buying signals. If people start, all of a sudden they're walking through and they've been pretty cordial and they've been pretty nice, and all of a sudden they go, oh, don't assume it's a negative just because they say it. And even if they say it like it sounds like a negative, if they come in and they go, oh, has blue carpet. I see realtors all the time because we had to watch shops. I got shopped for 15 years, video shop, nothing more critical than that, having to see yourself in all your glory. Anyway, it's very humbling process, but this is what they're looking at right here. And if you're talking about objections, they're really buying signals. What you're going to do the first time you hear one is to ignore it. Because so many agents, they'll jump on and start telling them all the reasons why it's not bad. And they're like, oh no, I actually liked it. So don't assume they didn't like something. Never assume. We know what that does. So anyway, the first time they say it, it could be a mere comment. Ignore it. Don't even reference it. Just act like you didn't hear it. If they bring it up again, then you can go, yes, that is a freeway there. And, it's kind of nice and convenient, don't you think? You don't instantly go off about the other things that they may be thinking. So until they keep bringing up and tell you for sure it's a negative, don't make it a negative. So you can start minimizing it. Yes, it's a freeway, but as you notice, this home's $350,000, and this one, the next one over here across a little bit further in is $400,000. You're getting your credit already because it's a little noisy. We sell homes, builders sell homes against train tracks, power stations, underneath the power line, all that stuff. You can sell anything, so don't assume it's a problem. We had one person say, you know what? I'm from California. I love freeways. Love freeways. Oh my God, I'm so glad it's right there. So close. So don't assume. You can minimize it. Okay, I know this is $10,000 more, but hey, that's $75 a month in your monthly payment. So that equals, $5 extra a day. That's what you spend on Starbucks. Starbucks more important than your home, stuff like that. So the other thing you might, and there's so many ways to do this to minimize. You can also do the found third-party testimonials where you're not telling them, but you can say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith moved in here. They also thought that was going to be an issue, but here's what they found. They found that it's not really a big deal. And matter of fact, they actually like it that west sun's coming in so they can see that beautiful sunset. They thought it was going to be a problem, but they got this awning and, so you minimize it. Okay. So there's so many, and third-party testimonial, you can get things in writing from other people that you work with, other clients. It doesn't always have to be from you. They really don't want to know until you've built rapport with them and they know they like you a lot, they really don't want to hear what you have to say unless you're giving them information they need. Okay. So the last step is closing. Now people go, oh my God, I don't want to close. And, that's hardcore and you're being foolish if you don't close. Because all you've done is just warmed them up for somebody smarter than you, who's a little bit tougher than you, to actually ask a very simple question. Would you like to buy this home today? Can we get the paperwork started today? Okay, you mentioned, again, you're going to take everything they're telling you in the presentation along the way. And you're going to write it down so you remember it, and then you're going to turn around and summarize it. You're going to say stuff like, okay, I should have taken my asthma medicine. I have no air today. Anyway, those poor people. Basically, you're going to take it and you're going to summarize it. You're going to say something like, okay, Susie, you love the home. It's in the perfect neighborhood that you've already mentioned you want to be in. The price seems to work for you. It's got the bedrooms you need for Susie, Joe, Mary, and Junior. It's got a yard for Roxy. It's got everything you want. What do you say we go ahead and take it off the market? We can, to take us about 30 minutes. We can get that done, or I can get it DocuSigned to you, or we better hurry because you can see there's 5 other people in here that may buy it. It is your job. That's your job. Don't feel like you're being too aggressive. That's doing your job. If you don't, I'm going to. If they come to me, I'm closing them. Am I pretty good at closing people in? Yeah. And Lynn's an awesome sales guy, does a ton of business with me and on the team. And I will take them and close them. If they have me work for them, I'm probably going to sell a home. That's what I'm there for. Nothing else. So you've done the whole process. You've asked them everything. Don't assume they're not going to buy. Assume they're going to buy. I mean, why else are they out there? Even if they tell you all these other stories. Oh, I was just going by to the store and I saw your open house. Maybe, but they wouldn't be coming into your home. Some do like to see just decorating and stuff, and some are nosy. But many didn't know they wanted to move until they saw the home they wanted to move to. So keep that stuff in mind. I don't listen to anything other than I watch their actions. Their actions are going to tell you if they're buyers or not. I sold a home to a gentleman, actually from my sync leads. He told me he wasn't buying for 2 years. No way, shape, or form he was going to buy. And I kept seeing he kept opening things up. He called me and asked me where open houses were. And I'm like, oh, no, you're not going out of homes without me. Never got him in my car once, but he bought cash 2 weeks later, $1.25 million in McDowell Mountain Ranch up with a view. Because I just said, you know what? I don't want you out there. You're not going to find the homes you want in an open house. Those are sporadic. You don't know what's going to be open today. May or may not even fit you. So I'm going to find you some open houses. Guess what? That's right. You want this? I got 4 for you open houses for you to see today. I just made the appointments and took them. So and he bought. I don't even think he realized he bought until he bought. So it was fine with me. It was awesome. So I'm like, okay, how'd that work for you 2 years from now? Okay, so the summary, like I said, you can, kind of just, kind of summarize everything for them. Sometimes you have to resell them at the end. You literally just go back to all the reasons that they love the home, because they're going to start throwing objections again. Well, I'm not sure about that blue carpet. I'm like, hey, if we change that carpet for you, would you buy? Or, hey, I can't move the freeway, but we can do certain things to minimize it. It has great windows. It's very quiet inside. You're saving $50,000. So you always have to bring them back to the truth about that home. And if you do that, half the time, all their negatives go away. Some takeaways here. If you plan your presentation, always use it. Commit it to memory. It will become off very, very easy. It flows. They don't even know they're getting hammered with a bunch of questions and that you're getting what you need. You don't come across as you're trying to sell them. You're trying to help them, because if they answer the questions, you're going to be able to actually help them get what they need. So, but don't be an information dumper again. Don't go off on tangents on stuff, because you will lose them. I've seen people sell them and then unsell them. Like they actually had them right ready to go. And we see it all the time with realtors, other realtors. I don't consider myself a realtor. I consider myself an expert, way higher than that. I'm just going to tell you I do. Because, the realtor brings them in, we sell them, one of us sells them, and then they go and they're like, okay, so we can start doing this. Oh no, I have 5 more appointments today. Like, do you really want to take them out and show them 5 more homes they may not buy? Get them confused. Confused minds do nothing. And we're looking like, are you serious? I will call that realtor many times and go, hey, I hope you get to sell them, because they were ready to go. So bring them back. Let me do you a favor. And then I'll let you know when the check's ready. And then you can go actually sell some other people maybe, or maybe not. So plan the presentation. Don't talk too much. When they're talking, you're winning. You may have to bring them back in if they get too out of whack though. Keep them back into the presentation and keep them going forward. Again, you're going to control it. You're going to let them know who's boss, but you're going to do it they're going to actually appreciate that, because most realtors are so desperate that they let people run over them. I am not going to live and die by one commission, and I'm not going to let anybody treat me bad. And so I don't think you should either. And that's who ultimately they want to work for. Make your sign stand out. Up here on the use the open house, when I went from new homes into resale 10 years ago, I didn't even know how to write a contract. I knew all about managing. I had 100 agents, 40 subdivisions. We did about 3,000 homes a year. I've personally sold over 1,000 homes myself. So I really do understand this stuff. But when I got out, I had no office. So I found open houses, whether they're your open houses or, and initially they weren't mine. And I set them every day for 4 months. And I said, this is my office. It wasn't an open house. It was my office. I brought my laptop, brought my food. I set up, I had my chair. I made myself very cozy. And that's where I was at. Because I figured there was nobody buying a home in my office. So I had a chance of selling a home. I could work on stuff. I brought a little printer with me. I set up my little office every day. It was with me in my trunk and everywhere, and I took it with me. So you should do the same. And I tell you what else do you have to do? But put yourself in a good position in a good open house. And then it's numbers. It's a numbers game. You will eventually convert people either in that home or convert them to working with you. And the other thing, you get to know your neighbors a lot. Because, oh, hi, Susie, you're here again today. Boy, I had one tell me the other day, my Terra Vita home that me and Desiree have a cross sell on my listing. I was picking up debris. I was picking up landscaping that had blown, raking, all sorts of stuff. I look like Mary Maids in my trunk because I'm not going to wait for somebody to clean up a spill. That's my job. I'm there, anyway, I will do anything. And I think that sets me apart. This neighbor goes, I've never seen a realtor actually do landscaping before. I'm like, yeah, that's my, part-time job. But anyway, make your sign stand out. Use these open houses. What else do you have to do unless you got a bunch of clients to work with? Nothing else, you will have them. Make your sign stand out. Put balloons. Make sure they're nice and clean. Use a lot of them. Anything you can do different. We really didn't go too detailed into that, but I put the sign on my door. Use humor, but test it. We do have an agent we work with every now and then that says stuff he thinks is funny. They don't think is funny, so be careful with that. He's really funny to himself, but you can get yourself in trouble. But for the most part, it works. People like that. They want to have fun. They want to laugh. Make it fun for them. Don't get too confrontational. Don't debate or argue. If they want to talk about how Arizona sucks and all that, and it's too hot, I just ignore that and I keep doing my job. That's for them. Numbers game, you're not going to lose if you show up and you're consistent with it. Memorize your questions, your presentation, be proactive until it becomes second nature to you. It's conversational, not like boom, boom, boom questions. You didn't become an agent to be like everybody else. So set yourself apart, educate yourself, be the best of this because Callaways know it works. There's many good companies and realtors out there that have used this, and this is what they do day in and day out to get their business. It absolutely works. But it's going to work over time. It's not going to work if you compare it one day, 1 week, or even a month. It's consistency long term. We wait for our B-backs to come. We have people that come in. We may not see them again for 3 months, but they come back. And if we hang in there and do all of the things, they come back. Those B-backs buy from us. Or we take them somewhere else and sell them something else. So people know look the part, by the way. Be professional. Clean yourself up. And don't look like you're the neighbor. Look like you're the agent. Just dress up a little bit. Look the part, the disc profile. Are people in here, are you guys familiar with the disc profile? Okay. Personality, basically you're going to try to match your personality to them. I'm a high DI, so I don't, and so basically I just get to the point. I'll tell them, look, I've told people, sometimes I'll stop them in their track and go, you're doing a pretty good job. You're actually got a nice little sales presence, even on the phone. I'm like, I know what you're doing and you're doing it well. I'm not going to buy from you, but let me give you a tidbit of how you could be better. Or I'll say, anyway, I don't want to be, I need to get to the point, and a lot of people are like me, so don't start bringing charts and graphs and everything out unless you've identified it's that engineer personality. you will lose them. So again, that's part of your selling them, and then you lose them because you go off in a different tangent. It's not about you, it's about them. And I think I had it somewhere, I may not have mentioned it. Don't do that ping pong thing where, you're talking to them and they go, oh yeah, I've just had the flu. And you go, oh yeah, well, I just had pneumonia. And then they go, well, I was in the hospital one time for 2 weeks. Oh, I was in the hospital for a month. It is not about you. It's about them. Let them tell you. I don't care if you just had a heart attack yesterday. It's not about you. It's about them. People like to talk. And if they're talking, for the most part, they're going to leave. God, wasn't that a nice person? And you didn't even say anything. So anything you can do to kind of mirror them. If they're talking fast, talk fast. If how they're sitting, all that stuff, it really does work. There's a lot of psychology with it. Have your car clean and ready to show them. I sometimes carry my office, and if I don't put it in the right place, I'm going to be embarrassed to have to go out there and clean my car seat out. So don't do that. Just be ready and prepared, because then you're ready to go. You won't hesitate. That confidence to be there. You're going to have a better chance of getting them in the car. Have enough signs. Point them in the right direction. And if you're not getting any traffic, go back out and see if somebody turned them around. They do that. They put them down on the ground. The wind blows them over, so put big rocks and stuff like that. It's really important to do that. And just a couple of other things. Safety. Working with a builder, I've had agents, I hate to say this, beat up, tied up, raped, and killed. Okay, so all agents that worked for us. And so we had a safety protocol all the time. Now, I worked in the industry from the time I was 21 years old, before we even had phones. We had those big brick phones. I never had an issue because I was aware and I paid attention to what was going over around me, and I never let somebody get me into a situation that I wasn't aware of. So here's a couple of things. I always sit to where I can see somebody coming in the door. So if you're doing all this and you're going to do a lot of these, you could encounter some issues. But if you do some of the stuff, like I had my dad or my brother, I'm like, okay, a single guy's coming in, a single guy's coming in. And so then I would call my dad or my husband or my daughter. I would leave it on. They know to put it on mute. They would hear me talking. They knew I had somebody in there I was a little concerned about. Or if I was locking my models at night or anything like that. Until I got in the car, they didn't hang up. So you always tell them where you're at, what the address is, what your own license plate number is. And so that worst case, if they hear something that doesn't sound right, or you don't come back, or they hear something's not good, they're going to call the police and get them to you right away. And this is really important. I've had to do this probably 5 times in my career. And a guy came into my office that was from California. He was a sexual offender that did not register here. I was a seasoned agent. He came to Desert Ridge. I was first agent there. I felt weird with him. I knew something wasn't right. He came in 3 times trying to get me to go into the models. Didn't work. He even waited for me one night, and I called a lender. I said, I don't know what this guy's issue is. Anyway, he ended up killing the girl over 4 miles from me, a 22-year-old that her mom had just got her in the business because she wasn't aware. But she was smart enough to do a guest card. And from that guest card, so she did her job, they found him. And anyway, so this is the greatest thing in the world to do, but just be safe and pay attention. I don't let somebody surprise me. Don't let them surprise you. Now, if I have 15 people in the room, I'm not worried about it because there's a bunch of people there. But anyway, pay attention to this. I don't go into the rooms. I don't get cornered. I don't turn my back. We just had an agent, and I say we because I'm very much part of the builder community still, with D.R. Horton for 22 years. One of our agents in Texas did get killed from a guy just trying to find a random single woman alone in a home. And so it does happen, but it hasn't happened to me, and it doesn't happen to most of us because we're trained and aware. So just pay attention to that. You can always get your lender or a friend or somebody else to come with you. And then literally, if I saw a single coming, I'd go and lock the back door. I leave it locked when I'm there so that I could run out back. I had a guy try to attack me. I beat him with a telephone. He tried to come across the plat table at me. He was a veteran that was a little off about the flag. I told him, absolutely, we're changing that flag. I agree, it looks like crap. Shouldn't be that way. We need to fix it. So things do happen, but be prepared. Here's kind of the summary of it all. It does work. You can read through this. If you get off the path, jump back on. when they leave, you have everything you need to follow up with them. You can send them a text, email, or call them. I do typically just send them a quick text and go, said I wasn't going to bother you, but sorry, I just had to say it was great meeting you. And hopefully I'll hear from you or whatever. But I don't wait around for them to get back to me. I keep on with it. You can have a bunch of different things to go back to them with. I don't just call them to call them. You always have to have a reason to call them. So you can also say something like this. By the way, because I met you today at the open house, if you do decide to buy, I'm gonna make sure that you get a home warranty on your new home. That's $600, $700, $800 value potentially. Or I'll pay money towards your closing costs. And by the way, if you find out they have a home to sell, you're going to find out right away, do you need to sell that home first or can you go ahead and buy? And so if they got to sell first, oh, you need me over here because I'll tell you what, I'm going to save you money. I might go ahead and say, if you buy this, I'm going to give you 1% off of this one. I always get my money first before I give my money. At least I try to. So have something of value, and that works too. And I think that's pretty much it. But I will tell you, when you do the greet, qualify, demonstrate, cite, and close, it is literally one step to the next. It actually flows very well. It may not seem like it, but it does flow very well. Next thing you know, somebody's buying and you're going, oh my God, they're going to buy. I mean, seriously, it works that well. And I'll be happy to put the presentation together the way that I've done it over all the years. And the other thing I can do is video real people with me in one of my models. I'd be happy to send it to you guys so you can see it in action with real people. Anyway, thank you, and I'm glad you're here today.
Quick thing I want to do real quick to follow up with this. Just an interaction of every day that we get up, put on our pants the same way as everybody else who's closing 500 homes or 200 homes. You get up every day, you have the opportunity to literally go up and go, you know what, I'm going to walk out, I'm going to make $10,000 a day, $20,000, depending on what you're closing, $100,000. It all literally walks up, and this open house it's a job interview. Every single day we're walking into a job interview that we agree to do an open house. Now, how much do these cost? How much does it cost you to do an open house? Little to nothing. I mean, if you did some Facebook posts, $25, $50 on Facebook, by the time you buy your $200 worth of signs, or $300, how many you have, it's effort, isn't it? Putting out the signs, building the deal, maybe calling or planning it, or doing the research on the pricing of the house, things like that. But if you walked up to an interview and you're like, hey, listen, you sell that person today, here's $10,000. What effort would you put into putting out your signs, doing your research on the area, previewing the homes, dressing the parts, knowing the questions, knowing the scripts? $10,000 a day we can go out and make doing this. At least, based off the average price range of the valley right now. These are cheap and easy. Like, this is just the job interview that we're just showing up, and all of a sudden the unlimited opportunities in this career just based off doing an open house and doing them right and having the questions to have our destination is unlimited. I mean, agent, do you think someone can make $250,000 or $500,000 a year in commission doing open houses? Absolutely. There's a team on the East Coast doing over 100 deals a year, strictly off open houses only. That's their only strategy for their business. And their whole weekly plan is on how do they market their open houses for all of their team with door knocking and everything else. It's simple and easy. So I just want to sell that point that just think about that. Every day you get up, you're like, walk out your front door, you're like, I'm going to go make $10,000 a day. It's literally that simple if we'll just put in the effort to simply know what to say and how to do it. Now, before anybody leaves, Kelsey, can I borrow your phone? I'd like to do a quick video with Mel and I and everybody here that we can post on social, kind of let everybody else who wasn't here.
And any questions too, by the way.
Yeah, we'll do questions.
Well, I was going to say too, they were asking me, they're like, well, they didn't talk about walk-ins. And my point with that is, it's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same.
It doesn't vary at all. I mean, there may be a couple things, but do the same, even if they're walking in the office, you do the same exact steps.
You greet them.
Yeah.
You qualify you're looking for a home today or you lost, just finding the store somewhere or looking for lunch. And then you quickly say, oh, great, let me get you on back in here. And you take them in the conference room and you start your process. How soon are you looking for a new home? It's the same thing wherever you're at, builder, home, or office.
I just want to do a little quick selfie video with Mel and I, and then you guys in the background, if you could, just to try and, like, people that weren't here, hopefully they'll be like, need to come to these.
I can tell the story while you're setting that up. So I had been an agent for about a month. I had one house under contract. It was to a family member, and I was in an open house in DC Ranch. And this guy came in, and he and his wife were walking around and whatever, and I wasn't even good at open houses. And they walk out, they're like, "Hey, thanks, appreciate it." They're walking out the door, and as he's going through the gate to leave, I go, "Hey, just if you guys are interested, I'd be happy to help you if you guys need any help looking at stuff." And he turns around and he goes, "I'll tell you what I told all the other agents that I meet. Whoever helps us find our next house can get our listing for the house that we're currently in." And I was like, challenge accepted. So I got his email. I called all these agents in Silverleaf, and I got all of the properties that were coming soon. And I started bringing him to stuff that wasn't on the MLS yet. So long story short, 2 months later, we closed a $4.9 million house for him at a full 3% commission. Sold his house for 1.8. He just bought a lot for $2 million. He's building another house, and now we're going to sell the 4.9 for 6.25. The guy that we bought the 4.9 house from, it was a new build spec, and our buyer really liked the builder. Started building spec houses with him. So we sold one in Troon North that was $2 million. One across the golf course from that one that was $3 million. We just closed on a lot in Artisana that's going to be a $2.5 million house that we're getting the listing on. We get 2% on all the listings. We get full 3% commission on the land buys. That builder we became friends with because they've done projects. That builder brought in another investor that is building a spec home in Silverleaf that's $6.25 million that we just have under contract last week. So like this one guy who was walking out the gate, and I say one word, and it's probably snowballed into like $30 million in real estate and probably $500,000 in commission income from this one guy.
Yeah, what do you have to lose not to try? Not to try to convert people.
One guy. It's job interview. You passed.
I want to be good at it.
Yeah.
So pass.
Yeah,
You're
but
a
see,
lot
other
better than
people
that.
don't like those challenges and don't want to push through hard work.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I guarantee you, the reason that Kevin and I are standing here today is not because we're incredibly cute, by the way, but other than that is because of hard work. You have to put the hard work into it. I mean, I had to go to the open houses. I don't necessarily want to, but I know how effective they are. Hard work, attitude, and we constantly educate to be better. If you stay where you were 10 years ago, you're going to still be where you were 10 years ago. All those people go, "I'm not going to learn new stuff." I'm like, well, I'll see you later because I'm going to be over here and you're going to be over here. You're going to be out of business.
So easy.
It really is.
When we turn around, would you guys holler and be all excited here? When we're going to start this way.
Oh, we are?
We are. Okay.
Better put my glasses on.
Hey guys, it's Mel and Kevin here from Platinum Living. We're doing our mastermind. We did our open house mastermind today, and you guys missed an awesome treat. Mel, you crushed it. You did awesome.
So did you, Kevin.
Thank you. It was fun. We had some awesome supporters here. Those of you that missed out, you missed a lot of value. I mean, implementable, instant value to take your business to the next level. Can you make $250,000 in commission off open houses annually?
Oh, I already have.
There you go. There you go. Check out our supporters. Thank you all for coming. Thank you guys. Come to these masterminds. They matter. They are valuable. Come check them out. They're free, and that's what we're about here. Platinum Living, raising it platinum style.
Woo!
Right? I hope that went through.
Hopefully you guys learned something. You're free to call me anytime if you have a situation. This is a 4-hour class and actually a week-long class, just to give you an idea. So it was just a quick little skirt over the stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And you guys can help stack your
Thanks
chairs
for feedback.
if you
Yeah,
are able to.
appreciate the feedback. If anybody wants a picture of like my open house strategy and open house script, I'll lay it up here. You just gotta take a picture. Or you can email me and I can email you. Email me and I'll email you back. All of it. Where's the attention?
Okay, put it on the side. And then where do they?
Thank you for your time. Thanks. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome, Pete.
So what does the doctor say? No, you're right, me. You say it's killing you. So what does the doctor say there? You said it's killing you. Jen, can I grab this from you?
Now are you here for 30 minutes?
Are you okay?
No shower door.
Oh, leave it up for a little bit.
A little locking up.
Oh, yeah, Joe.
So Christopher's coming in about 2:15. I'm picking him up from the airport.
Mel, do you know which was Jay's and which wasn't? So take home. Is this his bag?
This was his.
Okay.
Yeah, this has to all be his because there was
What about
nothing else.
this bad boy?
This wasn't. This wasn't. I don't think.
Okay.
This was sitting up here.
This just goes. I wonder where the cord is.
So I think all this was his.
I don't
It
want
must be his glasses.
No, you rocked it.
Oh, thank you.
Kevin,
So
I need your help.
You too.
Someone. I need someone's help. How do I get this off?
Unplugged?
I feel like this is his though.
I remember this big thing. Well, the one big thing was here. That one big plug
This
in.
big one. This one big cord was here, and you got it unplugged. Okay.
Let's see.
This must be his mic though. God, that's confusing. He needs like a whole production company to follow him around.
Can I just email you for a copy of the clips?
Yes. Yes, you sure can.
Okay.
Do you have my email?
I'll get it. Or we can bump phones.
Absolutely.
Are you good? Do you need anything?
I think I'm good. I hopefully have everything of his.
Probably the appraiser.
Was this must be his. Or this must be the bag for this. He's gonna kill me if I bring it back wrapped up all crazy. He's OCD. Jay's a little OCD.
Queen Bee? You good?
Yeah. Yeah.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's so much
You were
info.
born to teach. Born to lead.
Thank you. Wish I had better air. I refuse to take
It's the
medicine.
storms, like
It's
making it that much
I
worse.
want to talk more
It's
than
gotta
air.
be.
Yeah, certain times of year things bother me more. I'm supposedly pretty severe asthma, but I won't take medicine because I mean I've been short of breath my whole life, so no need to start now. They told me I couldn't play sports. I'm like, oh yeah, what? Okay, appraiser. I'm pretty sure I put him in as appraiser Joe. Am I just not seeing it? Oh, there it is. Joe appraiser. There you go. Let me share this.
No, it's fine. 602.
292 2236. And so, yeah, he's supposed to